everyone. Hi Debska. I'm in the correct orientation. Fabulous. I was panicking because YouTube's had so many updates recently since I last went live, and it wasn't letting me choose landscape or portrait like it normally does. So I was like, if this comes on and I'm in portrait, I will cry. But no, we're in landscape. We're all good. Got my book. We'll just wait for some people to pop on. I'll give people a chance to get in. I'm covered in supplies. I've got supplies everywhere. There's little room for me to move my elbows on this desk at the minute. What have you been up to, Debska? Are you doing anything nice today? It's sunny today. The sun's out, which is good. Always makes you happier, doesn't it, when the sun's shining? So some things I'm going to be using today. Obviously we've got Fragile World. This is my most favourite book of Kerby's, so it had to be this one today. You can see I have been taking it apart and I've bound it with this disc binding system. Oh no, Debska. That's pants, isn't it? Well, I hope you're not feeling too bad. Yeah, so if you're interested on any of these discs or how I've bound it, there is links in the description to purchase these and the 9-hole punch that I've used. I think I've put that in the description. So the page you might have seen on the thumbnail for the video, the page we're going to be doing, is these hooded grebes. And I have printed a reference picture off, so these are what they look like. In fact, I didn't know their eyes were red, and they look a bit spooky, if I'm honest. They look a bit creepy. I don't know whether to change them for black. No, I can't, can I? Oh no. That's the thing, Debska, as well. When one of you gets it, you know, you all, there's no avoiding it, is there? You all get it, no matter what it is. You pass it on to each other. Morning, bee. I don't blame you for not being awake yet. There's no way I'd be up that early, girl. No way. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning, but that was I didn't have a choice really. I have to get the kids ready for school and send them. So but if I didn't have to get up, I wouldn't. So I'm going to be painting with gouache today. I think I'll be using my Winsor & Newton gouache, but I have just pulled out my Artex gouache as well in case there's any colours that I want to use out of there. So I'll just quickly show you. So I am using this set. Now this is an introductory set you can get off Amazon. Again, it's linked in the description. And I've bought a couple of extra colours because you can buy them single stock as well. Now Amazon isn't always the cheapest place to get them single stock. Sometimes they are quite pricey. You're better off going to your other craft stores and online craft websites such as Jackson's Arts and things like that. But in here you do get, is it 10? You get 10, and then I've chucked in some of my extras. But they're really handy little tubes, and you only need to put a tiny little bit on your palette and you're good to go. And then the rest of your gouache is preserved because it's airtight and everything, where I've had the jelly gouaches and they sort of tend to dry up. So it is worth paying a little bit more for these, I think. I think they look nicer as well and feel nicer when you're using them. But the other ones I did get was these Airtex ones. Now these ones also come in a little airtight pot, so they look like this, but they can get a little bit messy. So they can get a bit stiff as well when you're trying to open them. But all that colour sometimes gets stuck around the rim of the lid and then gets on this part here, so when you're opening them you find you're covered in paint before you've even done anything. But they are quite nice, these ones, and they are, you know, quite a bit cheaper than the Winsor & Newton. Oh, you got the Erogeton pencils, Debska. Oh, I've not got the extra 10. I'm missing one of the sets and I didn't get the extra 10. because although I love them, I don't use them too often. I only really use them in my Tim Jeffs books, I want to say. Right, so should we get some colouring done? I think we should, shouldn't we, or else we'll be here till next year. So the good thing with the disc binding system is that I can take this page out of this book. So if I just carefully pull it up, you can see it just slots out, and that makes for easy colouring. And then when you want to pop it back in, you just push it back in like that. So I am going to take out the book, guys, and I'm going to put my book to one side. I'm going to get some scrap paper to put underneath, because I'm going to be doing the sky first on this one, I think. So we'll cover my desk in scrap paper. Sometimes helps, sometimes I just create mess anyway, wherever I go. Let me check them in frame. It looks so much different on my camera to what you can see. Let's just check if that's all right and we're all good to go. Has anyone used gouache for a colouring page before? Are you a bit scared to use it? I'm going to get some colours out. So looking at this, I want the background to be sort of, I know this is blurred out, but I want the background to be sort of a grey type tones, where it looks like sky on here, but I want it to be grey type tones. Now don't get upset with me, I'm going to paint out these little grebes because I just think it's going to be way too fiddly to try and go around them all, and then the teeny tiny little beaks on the ends, we're just going to lose half of that detail anyway. So I'm going to paint those little grebes out by doing a base colour of grey, and then I'm going to do some texture in the background using my sponge. These are linked in the description as well. Hi Cara Marinus. What did I use to bind that book, and do you just cut the spine off? You know what, I was a bit sloppy with mine because it was the first time I'd done it, but I did use a craft knife to cut the spine off. I used a metal ruler to straighten all the edges of the book, and then I've got a 9-hole punch that I use, that's linked in the description, to punch all the holes, and then these little disc binding discs you just slot into each hole. It's quite simple, but you just have to be a bit cautious of not, you know, ripping your pages and stuff. It is nerve-wracking when you first do it. Hi Audrey. Oh, it's lovely. We've got sunshine, Audrey, today. Right, let's get cracking. So I want to mix a grey, so I'm going to pull my white out and my black and maybe a bit of blue, because sometimes it's nice to add a little hint of blue, so you've got like a blue-grey, a sort of blue-grey feel to it. So I'm using the smooth side of my Caran d'Ache. There we go, it's very mucky, apologise. But this is the Caran d'Ache palette. This side's textured, which I use my Neocolor 2 crayons on. And this side is smooth, so I put any sort of gouache paint, acrylic paint on this side. So I'm just gonna pop a little bit of these colours down on the page and we'll get going. Yeah, nice to get your washing out, exactly. But at the moment I've been avoiding going out in the back garden because we've reseeded the grass or the lawn, so I can't really stand on it. I do need to go out there and water it in a bit actually. Whereabouts in the world are you, Cara Marinus? Right, just a hint of the black. Hopefully that'll be enough because we do want it like a nice light greyish sort of colour. I'm going to add some water to this and mix it before adding the blue because I want to just see what this is like first. Using my cheap brushes as well, by the way, guys. Now people say it's best to put a watery layer of gouache down first and then do your details with the more thicker consistency. I am still learning, so this, you'll see the chaos unfold on this page, I'm pretty sure of it. So that's a nice light colour, that's what we want to go for, and then I want a hint of blue. So rather than add this straight to there, I'm going to pop a bit of the blue on my palette and slowly add it into the grey, because I don't want it to be full on blue. See, that's literally all it needs, and it's giving it this hint. It's like just a warmth, a hint of blue. You probably can't tell. You probably can't tell on there, but I can tell. I can tell. So let's get into it. I'm going to switch to a bigger brush, and don't forget I've mentioned I'm going over these little baby grapes. I said babies, they're not, they're just in the distance, so they look smaller, but we're going to paint over them. So here we go. I'm doing the background first because when it comes to doing these details of the feathers, I'll be pulling out the feathers up onto the background. So if I did that first and then went in with the background, you'd be painting over all your nice little details you've just put in, if that makes sense. Let's make this a bit more watery. What comments have I missed? If I miss anything, I do apologise. It's so hard to keep up with chat and this. Oh, New Zealand, nice. Nice. So don't forget we're getting rid of these little birds, painting over them. Don't worry if the line art still shows through, because I'm going to be putting some texture in. This is just a base covering. I'm going to be putting texture on top using my art sponge. So any of this line art that is coming through will get covered up. Don't worry about that. You got to go through an ugly stage, guys. You got to go through an ugly stage. Half-term holiday, stressful, Debska. Stressful. Oh dear me. Was it too bad? We went to the local duck pond a few times, and they've got some not hooded grebes, but they've got some grebes on. Someone actually put a picture on the local duck pond Facebook group of them, but they fly on and off, so it's a rarity if you see them. And then we saw these bare-headed goose. There was one of those on, which is new, because we normally just get the Canadian geese on there. Hi Debbie. Right, I'm going to go over this little bit of water as well, because when it gets to the water I can go back over. If I want to get waves coming up when it comes to doing the water, I can just pull them up over that grey gouache, no problem. Now I am aware this looks awful to start with, but do not panic. This is what it was like when I did the Alien Worlds page I did recently with gouache. Hi Pauline. So into the top of the page, gonna have to be careful around his little beak area now. So who's got the Do Doing Inktense pencils? Who's got them? I went onto the website yesterday and saved the basket. I put all the new colours into the basket and saved my basket until I get paid. But I like the Derwent Inktense. They're really, really nice. In fact, I've pulled out a page I want to do next in the mouse guard, because that book I've used solely Inktense pencils in, because they're brilliant. I was trying to get hold of the new Christine Cameron book, the Wild, what's it called? Wild something. But they've sold out on the book depository, and obviously because that shop's shutting down, they're not going to restock it. So now I have to wait until, I think it's the 25th of June it releases on Amazon UK. Is it called Wildflower? Something like that. The plan for this page, Debbie, is to wing it. I'm blocking out all these little grebes in the background because I don't want them there. This is just a base wash of gouache for the background. The background is going to be a sort of less of a sky, more of a murky background, snowy hill type thing. See where I'm going here. Totally winging it. Yeah, I'm basically just going to try and paint all the page, Debbie. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm putting, this is just the base for the background, then I'm going to put texture in with using the sponge again and some white. So yeah, ignore the patchiness of this gouache. You will not see it when I'm done. You will not, I promise. I think I promise. Dear me. Thank you, Queen Bee. I know there's lots in here today from all over. Hi, Marilyn. Oh, second names come out when people are naughty, don't they? Second names come out the bag. Not too bothered about those feathers there. I'm going to accentuate those when I go in with the details after and pull them out into the background. How's the paper holding up? It's not too bad, Deborah, but to be honest, because it's gouache, it's got that bit of a thicker consistencies to it where it's not as watery as, say, a watercolour. But I would, if I was using watercolour, pure watercolour on this page, or using more water than I am at the moment, I would gesso it. I would. I find the paper in this one is better than the Alien Worlds though. Does anyone find the paper in Alien Worlds to be a little bit thinner? Or is it just me? I know I've seen a few comments about it. 3 AM. Why are you not sleeping, Queen Bee? 41 degrees. Hi, Pickle. Hi, Shannon. Pickle, do you agree? And I've had two books. I've had one from the works, and I've had one from Amazon, and it's both the same paper. It's thinner. It's a lot thinner. I don't know why. (10:17 PM New Zealand time). Well, it's 11-ish here. 11:20 AM. So I've had my breakfast and it's not quite dinner time yet, or lunchtime, however you say it. So you can see the, what do we call it, blotchiness of it all, but that will be covered up with the texture that I'm going to do. But I'm going to let it dry a little bit first. Should I let it dry? Should I get my Alien Worlds page to show you, in case you didn't see that? Because I've used gouache in that, wherever it may be. I'm sure it's on my shelf. Where's it gone? Different paper, it definitely is, Pickle. Hi, Chris. Australia. I've mixed my own colour. It's black and white, and then I added a hint of blue. So it's just these Winsor & Newtons, the black and permanent white, and then I added a little touch of the primary blue, so it's sort of got this sort of blue-grey tinge to it, sort of thing going on. It looks absolutely terrible at the minute, but don't worry, it'll come together. This is the very, very ugly stage. It is gouache, Marilyn. It's the Winsor & Newton Designers gouache. Someone in your time zone, Pickle, yay. It's a good time, this, in the UK. It's a good time. Oh, that's very kind of you, Chris, but it's fine, honestly. If it was a book I thought I'd colour in more often, I'd probably snap your hand off and pay for the shipping. But it's honestly not a book that... It's not a book that I'm going to colour in that often. There's only a handful of pages that I like in this book. But this is the one that I did with gouache. So this originally wasn't here. I sort of made this circle myself with the gouache, and then this texture is created from using this sponge. You can still see the colours on it because I've not washed it. You can still see it. Oh, welcome, Cara Marinus. You've got your little emojis now. Got your little emojis to use in chat. Thank you. But yeah, I use that. And down here as well. But I did enjoy that page, but like I say, it's just not a book that I'm going to get out very much at all. It's just not. Yippee for sponges. I know, I love it. I love a bit of texture. I've even got out a palette knife today. In case we get to the water, we might not do because I'm chatting too much. But if we get to the water, I've even got a little palette knife to put some texture in. The only problem with doing any sort of texture on a page is you've got to think what's on the other side. So this is a whale page. Well, it's part of a whale page. I think the whales might be dolphins. So then if you've put texture on this side and you go to colour this, you're going to get bumps. But because this page is a page that I'm probably going to paint anyway, then any texture on this side won't affect my painting. But it would with coloured pencils. If you were trying to get a smooth finish with coloured pencils, with texture on the back of it, it would just, no, it'd be a nightmare. But yeah. Right, should we get some? I think it's dried a bit. You don't have to let it dry fully, but you can get a different sort of effect if it's still wet with a sponge rather than it being dry. So where is my white paint gone? It's over here. So I'm going to pop a bit more of this white paint on my palette. And I'm not going to wet the sponge. My sponge is actually dry. It is dry, guys. Now when I start putting the texture in, we are going to have a bit of a halo around the greaves because I obviously don't want to go on the greaves with this white paint. But afterwards, when I've actually painted the greaves, I can then possibly get my sponge back out and go in a bit closer, because after they've been painted, it possibly doesn't matter as much if I get a little bit on them. So, sort of thing. So again, I've still got a bit of the blue we used to mix with the grey on the palette, and I might even add a little bit of that into the white for the texture. But I'm going to concentrate firstly on going over the areas where we want these greaves covered up, where I've sort of coloured them out, painted them out, sort of thing. So I'm going to dip my sponge, and you can see when you dip it in, it's quite gloopy at first. You know, you can either add water to it and water it down a little bit, which I might do. Just add a bit of water on there. Or you can get a scrap piece of paper and just, once you've dipped in with a sponge, then dab onto the scrap piece of paper, say here, before going on your page. It's entirely up to you. Hi Melissa, you've come in on the ugly stage of the page. Don't worry, it will get better. This is the ugly stage, but I'm going to use the other side of my sponge as well, because as you can see we've still got that pink colour on that side. So I'm going to use this side because I don't want pink on this page. So I'm just going to start off over those greaves. So it's sort of, the background is going to be a sort of blurred out if you think of snowy mountain backdrop type of blurry, wintry white, I don't know what I'm going for, kind of vibes. You can actually, because it's quite small on the end, this sponge, it's quite narrow, I can actually get quite close to there. It's not too bad. I just love it. I love texture. I just can't help myself. I think I just like getting messy with paints, and that's that. That's that. But because I've gone in with texture on the top half of the page, I think the bottom half of the page with the water, I'm going to try and get a smoother sort of water. I know it looks very choppy, the line art that's originally in, but I think I'm going to try and smooth it a bit with just the little bits of thing coming up. I've got a vision in my head, guys. I've got a vision. Right. Dip back in. I might need some more white paint here. This sponge is sort of sucking it up. Working with gouache is a process. It is. It is. Thank you, Melissa. I love doing the Pantone cards. I've sort of abandoned all my diamond paintings at the moment, doing all the gouache painting, because I just I enjoy it more, and it's more of a instant. If you start a diamond painting, it takes you weeks to finish it, whereas one of my Pantone paintings that I've done, they take anything from 2 to 4 hours, and then it's done, and it's an instant wow, look what I've done kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going for, kind of herbs. And you might not be happy that I've got rid of those little grebes, but they'd have been a nightmare to try and get around all those. So with gouache as well, your lighter colours dry darker and your darker colours dry lighter. And it's very confusing when I try and say that in my own head. So you'll see when I'm initially putting this white paint down, it's quite bright. And once it starts drying, you can see that it's getting duller. So sometimes you have to work in layers where you go back in with more colours over the top, and it just creates some variation and stuff like that. All those posh words. The grebes have got some lovely colours on the heads as well. The head feathers, they're like a really rich sort of rich browns, I would say. What we saying on the chat? What we saying? Yeah, pickle. So many times I will paint something, think that looks totally horrific, paint over it, think that's even worse, and then paint over it again. I just keep covering up the mess, basically. It's hilarious sometimes. Right, I think I'll just let that dry for a little minute, and I'm going to mix a little bit of blue into my white again. I'm mixing paint at the side here, guys. Mixing paint, see, mixing paint. Nice pale blue. Let's add some water to it. Does anybody else just love painting? Or is it just me? Have you got the guts to paint in your colouring book, or are you scared? At first I was really scared of messing up in my colouring books, but now I'm really not. I just go for it, and you know what, if it turns out rubbish, if I don't like it, it's just 1 page out of 1,000. I don't mind. Right, I'm going to leave that there though for now. I'm going to stop with this. Look at this. You're going to see dirty hands from me, guys. Luckily, Queen Bee, gouache dries really quite quickly. It's a bit like acrylic paint where you don't have to wait very long for it to dry. I have had a blow dryer in the past and it just annoyed me, the noise of it. I did actually give it to Debbie from Colour Me Stress Free for when she does her watercolourings. But that will be dry in no time, honestly. Won't take very long to dry at all. But I'm going to go in on these little grabies now. So I'm going to pull out some colours. So looking at the reference again, we've got some gorgeous, it's almost like an orangey brown, isn't it? Like sanguine or a terracotta type, to think, type colours. But I'm going to have to mix these colours myself. So you're going to have to bear with me because I'm really rubbish at, what's the word? When you're trying to mix your own colours, there's a posh word for it. But I'm really rubbish at that. But I just add the colours bit by bit and see how we get on. Yeah, watercolours take a bit longer to dry. Hi Connie. Welcome, welcome. Right, I'm going to get mixing this. I'm going to try and mix this colour now. Wish me luck. So, brown. How do we mix brown? Red, blue and green, isn't it? Red, blue and green makes brown, doesn't it? See, I'm rubbish at colour fever. Is it colour fever? Is it called colour fever? What's it called? But I'm really rubbish. I'm really rubbish. It's a long time since I went to school learning how to mix colours. Apart from your obvious ones like blue and red make purple. Let's have a little look. It's a gorgeous page, isn't it, Connor? I was drawn to it. It was either this page or I don't know what they're called, but they look a bit like a pigeon. There's a page in the book where they look a bit like pigeons or something similar. Pickle, I know, right? The riser kind of creeping me out because look, I read the riser and I was thinking, should I do them black? But it'll bug me if I don't do them the right colour, because I've sort of gone with realism in this book where I've sort of got a reference of the animal and done it to the T with whatever colour it's supposed to be. Those eyes, oh. Those eyes are freaking me out, Connor. But they are beautiful. I love all the head feathers. They're cool, aren't they? Like little punk rockers. Right, let's try and mix this paint. Do you think, Queen Bee? See, I quite like these Winsor & Newton paints. I quite like them. Right, let's see if this makes brown, guys. I think we need more red. It's a very, very, very... That's a very dark brown. Although, it is very dark brown, isn't it? And it will dry lighter. It will dry lighter. Remind myself it will dry lighter. The actual background colour on the head, it is quite dark like that, isn't it? I'd say that's about right, actually. And then it'll dry a little bit lighter, so I think we're good to go. And then all the little details will be with a sort of terracotta type shade. So I'm going to water this down a little bit, make it a bit looser on the consistency. Now this will be very, very, very ugly when I put the base colour down. You will think, what is she doing? What has she done? Because when we first put it in, there's going to be no details. We're going to be getting rid of all that. The details will come when the base colour is dry, and then we can go in with a thinner detailed brush and put all those feather strokes in individually. So Don't be alarmed. Don't panic. Should I bring you in a little bit? Let me let my screen catch up and see if we're in frame, because honestly I'm about 30 seconds to a minute behind on my iPad here. So I can't see what it actually looks like on your screen. They look like they've parted too much to do. Oh, no worries, Kenny. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. What time is it there, Kenny? Yeah, I need to come down. Oh, I need to zoom out a little bit more. My screen's taking forever to catch up. Ugly teenage stage, yeah, I've been there too. I think I'm still in it sometimes, Pickle. Adult acne and all that. You know. Right. Ugly stage incoming. Do not be alarmed. All the details are going to be washed away. Do not be alarmed. Do not be alarmed. Maybe I'm just reassuring myself not to be alarmed. But who knows? So you can if you're putting the base layer down, you can sort of map out some of the little feathers if you want like that. But the proper details will come when we're going in with that that sort of terracotta colour. What colour's around the actual eye? So this bit is white, so I don't want to go on that. This bit is white. So let's go around that. You're having lunch. Oh, nice. What are you having, Connie? What are you all eating? Let's talk food. Let's talk food again. Why not? I do question why I do some things to myself sometimes, you know. I could have come on and had a nice chilled time with coloured pencils, but instead I make my life hard. Right, let's get all this bit blocked in first, and then we'll pull out the feathers at the end a little bit. Let's get this prominent line, where it stops there. Colour comes down. It's all dark brown under here. I thought people have done all sorts on streams this past 2 weeks. It's been great fun to see all the mixed media. Connie with her page. I was fascinated watching that, Connie. And then we've had people using the Derwent Inktense. I've missed quite a few streams because there was quite a few streamers. It was very late at night for me. And having 5 kids, I value my sleep, guys. I value my sleep. I really do. What have I missed in the chat? Because I am behind. You're missing those emergency vehicles. Now you've mentioned it, one will probably go past. It's always when you mention it. Whenever I say, oh, I've not heard an emergency vehicle for a while, one will go past within like seconds. Guaranteed. Do have little mohawks, don't they? They're very cute. I need a coffee, Kenny. There's no one here to make me one though now. Oh, if I dash off as well, it'll be because someone's knocked on my door, because my postman, if he's got any parcels, he normally knocks on the door around this time, and I've got an Amazon parcel coming. It's not for me. Don't get excited, it's nothing for me. My daughter had some birthday money left, so she's ordered some Heelys. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with what Heelys are, but they're like, imagine a trainer, or you call them, some people call them sneakers. So imagine a sneaker with wheels on. It's not a roller skate. It literally looks like a sneaker or a trainer. And they've got 2 little wheels on the heel, on the underside of the shoe. She's got some of those coming. I'm just going to flick out a bit of this colour over the edges. So now you can see why I did the background first, so that I could get these little details over the top sort of thing. Let me bring you down in a little bit, that might be better. Did you have Healy's pickle? I thought they were a new thing. I don't remember them when I was younger. I'm 35. 36 in June. Right, let me look at my little reference picture. It's getting spiky now. Getting some spikes. And I'm going to pull out a few down his neck as well. A few little bits down his neck. I've missed some chat. Let me scroll back. Thanks, Connie. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Some things are shocking, but you know, you don't learn until you try, do you? You have to have some bloopers to get good at anything. It's just a learning curve, isn't it? I've been trying to... Has anyone watched The Last of Us? Please tell me you have. It's a series. The Last of Us. Well, the scene where Ellie and Joel are stroking the giraffe and they've got their sort of backs to the camera. I'm hoping to paint that, or attempt to paint it, but you know. Now, rather than carry on down here with other colours, where I've already got this colour mixed, I'm going to do the head of this one. Otherwise, paint's drying up on the sides. You can reactivate it with water, but I'd sooner just do this side whilst I've got the paint out. Debska, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, it's based off the video game Queen Bee. They've made a series of it. I think that's it, Kenny. I think you're right. I think you just have to go for it, don't you? So where's this bit that's white is staying just above the eye there. And then this one's got white there, so this starts there. Just trying to decide where the white bits are because I don't want to paint over bits that are white with this. So that little bit above his beak is white on this one. I think I've possibly gone over where I shouldn't have on this one, but I can always go over with white, but it might be a bit harder. It just might be a bit harder to get it bright white, but not to worry. See, I don't do video games, so I didn't actually know about the video game until my partner said that it was based off one. Let's work out what's where the black stops there. I think it's there under the beak. I thought this colour would dry a little bit lighter than it has done. But hopefully when we get these sort of terracotta shades on the top bit here, it will bring some nice colour to it. I'm using gouache, Connie. So I'm using, at the minute, I'm using the Winsor & Newton Designers gouache, which I love the consistency of. So this is an introductory set that you can get off Amazon. I've linked it in the description. And they're just these little cute little tubes. And they stay all nice and fresh because they're properly sealed. Not like the Himi Jelly gouache, they can dry up quite quickly. I just feel like it's a bit easier with gouache. You've got a bit more control over it, I think. And obviously being able to paint with it in its thickest consistency or water it down, and you can even use it as a watercolour if you wanted to water it down that much. But I prefer it a bit thicker. It's easier to work with. And easier to pop in details as well when it's thicker. Brian's alarm. Was it his alarm for get up for the day, Shannon? Over here in the UK, I believe you might already have it where you live. But here in the UK on Sunday at around 3 p.m, I believe, if you've got any sort of device, mobile phone, it will set off a emergency alarm type thing. Yeah, that's going to terrify me because I've got anxiety as it is. My phone just randomly starts creating. It's going to make me jump out my skin. I believe some countries have them for like hurricane alerts, where it'll just send an alert to your phone, an alarm or something. You're looking forward to it, Pickle? Yeah, you can paint over it easier, definitely. You can cover mistakes up more easy, Connor. That's what we like. We like covering mistakes up. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to tackle the feathers on the rest of the body yet, but you know, we'll just wing it. Be fine. We'll wing it. Where's my reference gone? There we go. I need to just loop round his eye here. Yeah, it's yellow. That little bit there is going to be yellow. That little bit there is going to be yellow. So I'm going to try and get, or should I stick with the head? No, I'm going to continue with the head. And I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. I've got air fever and it's getting to that weather now, and I've not took a antihistamine. Right, I need to try and mix this colour now. This is going to be fun. I need to try and mix this sort of reddy shade, but I think I'm going to pop my whites in first, and then this sort of, this beak, it is, I want to say it's a black beak, but it's got more, it's more of a really deep grey with a bit of white through it, and possibly a hint of blue again, because it looks more like a bluish grey on top, or it might just be where the light's hitting it. Yeah, we'll get that in, we'll get the eye in and the white bits, and then we'll mix that colour. Right, it's a plan. Oh, I've really not, Kenna. I've really not been using it a long time. thank you. Right, let's wash this brush off, because obviously we've just been using a really dark paint, and now I'm gonna need to be doing some white parts, so we want to make sure that that's totally cleaned off. Let's pop some more white paint. I need to order another white paint actually, because I go through it the most. I add white to almost anything I'm painting. Let's move you a bit more this way, I think. I can get those white bits in. Just added a little bit of water to the gouache just so it's a bit more creamy. Oh, low battery. Let me move the iPad to the other side of the desk. It's where I've got the chat up. And plug it in, because I don't want you all to go off, or else I'll not be able to see what you're typing, and that won't be good, will it? There we go. You are all plugged in. I'll just have to pop you on the other side of my desk. So I'll have to look in the other direction for the chat. There we go. I think I'm sorted. Am I sorted? My son's iPad's dodgy. The screen's broke on it, so whenever I try to click anything, it doesn't click. But we've already paid for a new screen on this once. £80 it cost last time we broke it. That's kids for you. Hi, Nana. Hey. Thank you, Debska. Right, let's get these white bits in. Bring my little reference back. See how I've painted over this? See how I've painted over this white bit? So I'm just gonna... It's the good thing about gouache, because it's, if you use it in its thick consistency, it does act like an acrylic paint, so you can actually go over black. So, you know, it doesn't matter that I went over it. Nobody's bothered. I'm just gonna fluff out the ends a bit, I think, so it's not a straight line. We've got like, I don't know, little teeny tiny rifts at the top. That'll do for now. And then this bit here, that bit's yellow, that bit's red. I could have done with an even smaller brush, if I'm honest, for this bit. Things that are teeny tiny little details, you do want a really, really small brush. But if I'm super careful, and if I don't breathe, I might be alright. If I don't breathe. Whew. Let's leave it at that for that one. They're not admitting it. Can you not tell who's telling Porky's pickle either? Oh, Kenny, the background, honestly, it was really simple. I did a wash of like a grey blue type gouache, which looked horrendously patchy at first. And then I just used a white gouache, dipped this sponge in the white gouache, and just literally dabbed it all over. That was it. You get some nice textures with these sponges. And it's really simple. Oh, I'm not going to pass out. Do you know I've never actually passed out in my life? Like, even when I was iron deficient, B12 deficient, and I felt like I was going to faint, I've always managed to stop myself. I just sit down straight away and put my head between my legs. And then that solves the problem. They're great, aren't they, Connie? I need to order some more actually. They do, they last a long time. but they can get a bit of wear and tear depending on how you're using them. So, right, not breathing again. Silence. That's when you know I'm concentrating. The silence. Get the rough shape filled in, and then we'll go with the details. Right. That will do for now, I think. Right, let's get that greyish beak painted in. So for this, I'm just going to add a little bit of... In fact, I've already got a colour mixed on my palette from the background a little bit. I can just deepen that up. So where's my black paint? Minimal Grass on Air Brothers. Tag teaming. Tut tut. Oh, Nana, yeah, I don't like blood. That's one thing I don't like. But I've always managed to stop myself fainting. I've always managed. I feel sick. I've always had to say, ask for some water. Put my head between my legs. One time a midwife actually got me lying on the floor with my feet up. But yeah, never actually fainted, touch wood. Pickle my daughter when she was about, well, she's 12 now, when she was about, how old do I want to say? I think she was about 8 or 9. Do you remember those toy kitchens that came into fashion, and instead of the plastic food, toy food, they started making all the wooden ones? Well, my daughter got one of the wooden food items. I think it was a wooden onion, and she threw it at the teller, cracked the teller. Her dad was fuming. Right, I've mixed like a... This is the sort of grey I've mixed to start with. I might darken it up a little bit, who knows. But we'll start with this to map out the beak to start off with. So let's have a little look. Yeah, the bottom of the beak I'm going to do darker, and then obviously we have to pop that little line in. The other good thing as well with gouache is that you can actually go over and put little details in with a micron pen. Now, if you went to Connie's stream and watched Connie's stream, you'll know what the micron pens are. I'm sure Connie knows what they are. Now, the little details on the beak I'm going to go over after I've done this. So we're going to go right up to his eyeball. I'm not breathing again. Oh, I am really. Right, while we've got this colour already mixed, I'm going to do the other side so that it looks the same. You have to watch them, Kenny. Oh, no. No, no, no. No. Oh, Audrey. I always forget appointments too till the last minute. Nightmare. Got quite a few appointments lately as well. I was sat up until, oh God, after midnight last night filling in forms for my daughter. 4 sheets of A4 I wrote to send in with my daughter's paperwork. There we go, that's the main shape of the beak mapped out. Now I'm going to pick out little points. So we've got the little nostril, which I'm gonna pop in. It's weird, isn't it, Nana? How some can leave no marks and some your arm is absolutely killing you afterwards. Right. I forgot whereabouts the nostril was, but looking at my reference picture, it's around there. That'll do. And around here. That one. Now I'm going to add some more black into the grey I've used for the beak to make it darker, and then we can put some more details in. Oh, at this point I am covered in paint. This is how you know you've had a good time. Literally. Look at this mucky palette now, how mucky it is. But this is the darker colour I'm mixing. Possibly mixed a bit too much paint here for something so tiny, but hey ho. You get big bruises, Connor. Pickle, why'd you have to be so awkward? Only one nurse can get blood from you. They've never had a problem getting mine. Luckily, because I think I would just cry if they struggled to get it out. Like, ugh. Right, I'm going to put in some little line details now with this darker colour. So I'm going to map out where the bottom of the beak is, because that bit is going to be darker. Maybe check it. No, because that bit's going to be white. But then a little bit of darkness around here. Now with gouache, you can either, and probably need to zoom in a bit more. Are we in frame still? With gouache, you can either, when you've gone in with a darker colour, say, you can either leave the line as quite a harsh stark line, or if you wanted it to be more blended, clean your brush off, add some water, clean water to your brush, and just sort of blur out the lines a little bit. But I think For this one I'm going to leave the lines as they are because they are quite harsh on the actual reference. You can see there's quite sharp lines on there. I agree. I think sometimes you have to be not forced into colouring pages, but sort of challenged. We'll use the word challenge. I think sometimes you have to be challenged to colour certain things, don't you? And it's Audrey who's got that magnificent page, haven't you, after Tanya's stream? Rather you than me. As soon as she opened it to that page, I thought, oh my word, that would not be one I'd be colouring. So yeah, good luck with that, Audrey. I'm so mean. I'm so mean. Either gouache, Audrey, or acrylic paint will cover any mistakes like that. Literally. That's my most favourite thing to do when I've made a mistake, is cover with gouache or acrylic paint. Oh, dipped into the wrong colour then, my word, because they don't do that. Would have had a disaster on my hands. You challenge yourself to make a pickle-like mess. You have the most fun making a mess though, don't you? Let's be honest. You have the most fun. I'm going to try and bring this line out here under that nostril. A little bit. That'll do. And thicken up this line. There we go. It's not done yet. Oh, you should. You can get cheaper sets. Like I say, I really like the other Arteza set that I've got. I'm not a fan of the jelly gouache that comes in the sort of, it's like a palette type container. I'm not a fan of that, only because mine dried up all the time, and it's really, you know, you have to put loads of water down then and let them sit overnight to get them all softened up again. Whereas these Artex ones are quite nice because they stay sealed very well. I don't know how much you can see on screen. There's a massive delay in what I can see on my iPad, but these are a lot better. They are linked. The gouache that I use is linked in the description box if anybody's interested in getting any of those. Look at the colour, Emma. Look at the colour, Emma. Yeah, you can get different sets, Nana. There's I think mine was more of some more pastel colours, but I think you can get like a dark type space galaxy themed set as well. Where have I put my favourite paintbrush? Right, what do I need to pop in now? Let's look at this beak. I want a little bit more of a paler grey, so I'm going to mix an even paler grey to pop in some teeny tiny lines, maybe even find a smaller brush. Have I got anything even smaller than the one I've been using? I don't think I have, so I'll just carry on with the one I've got. Wipe that off. Artex, yeah. Artex Nana. They're in the description. Yeah, I love that as well, Nana. That matte black paint's nice. Nice, really nice. Right, let's pop some little bits of texture in here. So even just little dots on the beak, little lines, just little bits like that here and there, just adds to it. There's a white bit coming from the eye or going up to the eyes, sort of like that. Let's make that a bit more prominent up there. And then the other side's similar, so we've got another bit of a white line coming from there. I think that's it. I'm going to go in with that creepy red eye now, so I'm going to find Spectrum Red. I think we'll go for this. Hi, Tanya. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Queen Bee. Enjoy your beauty sleep. The new ink tents, they're on my list, Pauline, as well. They're on my list. They're on my list of things. Connie, I keep leaking at the Holbein paint. Oh, don't get me down that road. I keep leaking at them but thinking, nah. You like the Winsor & Newton, so stick with those. They're a lot cheaper. Keep telling myself. But you know, that rabbit hole and all that. That little old rabbit hole. But I've heard there's like mixed reviews. It's that same old thing of like when you're colouring, there's people what prefer the Prismas, then you've got people what prefer the polys because they're harder. It's the same with paints. So I've heard some people say they really love the Holbein gouache, and then I've heard other people say they can get a bit chalky. And the Winsor & Newton they found a lot creamier. So I don't know. I just think it's a personal preference sometimes, isn't it? You want the extra light fast. What are the extra light fast now? Are they new ones? I've not even got the light fast pencils. Right, I'm going in with this red now, very carefully. Again, I'm not going to breathe. Sometimes, or if you find that you've not got a brush small enough to be as detailed, with something circular like this eye, I have in the past used a dotting tool. So this one's a really tiny one. I don't know if I've got another one to show you. Yeah, this one's bigger. So I have sometimes just dipped the dotting tool in the paint, and then when you put it on the page, it's a perfect circle. So that's an option. That's something I do sometimes. But I'm just making my life hard for myself today, that's all. Just going in with a big chunky paintbrush. Not breathing. Is there anybody else streaming today? I tried to have a little look at the document and I couldn't find out. Is it Renee? Is Renee streaming today? Or have I got that wrong? Shannon, you know, who's streaming today? Is there anyone directly after me, or is it a few hours after me? Do you do that too, Connor? It's such a good trick though, isn't it? Such a good trick. Right, that's it with the red. That's literally it. Now I need a tiny bit of yellow. Now this is even more detailed because it's teeny tiny, and it's just at the back of the eye next to that white bit. There's a pop of yellow, so let me find my yellow paint. I only need a teeny tiny amount of this. Oh. Teeny tiny. It looks like I've hardly painted anything, doesn't it? How long have I been on for? An hour and 15 minutes, and we've done a bit of background and 2 little heads. I'm slow at colouring, what can I say? Oh, that's a good idea, on stones, yeah. Right, let's get this pop of yellow on here. It needs some more water added to it. Do you know what? I've not heard that emergency vehicle go past yet. I've still not heard one. It's shocking. There we go. And on the other side, my hand might get in the way at this part because it just might. Oh, I'm going to have to go back in with the red there. See how I've gone over a bit too much? I'll let it dry a second first, otherwise it's just going to go muddy. So I'll let it dry for a minute and then I'll go back in. I'm going to pop a little white highlight in this little eye. And it's a teeny tiny little highlight right in the centre of the eye. It's like the light's hitting the, just like that. Barbara, Emily, Amy, Renee. Thank you, Tanya. I'll have to see when I can pop in. I've got the school run after I stream. I've got about an hour before I have to go and pick the kids up from school. And then there's a rush of getting home and tea. Thank you. I was going to get the Brute Funa squares this week, and then I don't know, I keep putting it off. I want a budget brand to use on the channel so that all my colouring chats aren't predominantly polychrome horse, you know, just for some variation. But I'm toying with myself. I don't know whether to get the Brute Funa squares or the Artex pencils. Which do you all prefer? Hi, Bee Cozy. Right, I'm going to fix this eye now. I'm going to pop a bit more of the red over that yellow where I've just gone over a little bit. Let's fix it. Get out the way. There we go. Thank you. I've got that terracotta type colour to mix next. I don't know if I'm going to be able to mix that colour. I'm going to try my very best. Try and mix something that resembles it. Because this should be dry now. All this darker area should be dry, so I should be able to go in doing this colour over the top. I love my polys too. They're my absolute favourite. I've never got on with Prismacolor. I keep wanting to. Whenever I see people's finished pages and say, oh, I've done it in Prismacolor and I think it looks fantastic, or people rave about how Prismas are so good, and I just want so much to like them, but I just don't. I just don't. Did you send them back, Debska? Oh, what did you not like about them? Hey Bee, welcome back. Oh, have you had a coffee? Have you had a coffee, Bee? You've never tried the Artex, so that's 2 votes for the Brute Funas. Pauline, I just don't, I want so badly to like them because I think the colours of the Prismas are really, really nice, but I just don't like the softer pencil. I like something a bit harder. But it's each to their own, isn't it? You thought they were patchy? Well, I might just go for the Brute Funas then, because to be honest, they're cheaper as well. They're like £30 cheaper for the Brute Funas, I think. Right, I'm going to pop him a little highlight in now. Now I've let that dry a little minute. So, getting the white paint again. And we want a teeny tiny dot somewhere in the middle. That'll do. One can hear a doggy barking outside. You adore the Prismas, see? I know, everyone's so different, aren't they? Cora didn't like the Artex either. And you love the Brute Funas squares, Pauline. Right, I'm going for the Brute Funas then. Mine's made up. You made my mind up for me. There we go. Right, I'm going to try and mix this colour, guys, now. So I might be a little bit off screen while I try and get this colour going. Hopefully I can mix something that resembles this, but we'll see. That's why I need to add to my collection of paints, because I'm not good at mixing my own colours. I need them to just be there waiting for me. So I'm thinking if I add some of this yellow into the brown I had made, bit of yellow, bit of red. I'm just winging this, guys. I'm winging it. Where's my yellow gone? I need a bit more yellow. Kalos, are they the ones that Colour with Claire advertised recently that she knew someone was selling some, or is that something else? Or was that Charisma? Oh, I don't know. There's too many pencils, isn't there? You hate sharpening? Oh yeah. That was the other thing I was worried about, Nana, is what sharpener do you use to sharpen those? See, that's... Oh, see, because I have, at the minute, I have the swordfish sharpener, and I know for a fact they wouldn't go in there, or I'd assume they wouldn't go in here. Yeah, rubbish. Yeah, exactly, Nana. I don't know what I'm doing on this palette. Look what I'm creating at the minute. A big yellowy brown muddy mess. I'm trying to add some red into it to see if that makes it more... Yeah, just... Yeah. Oh, it might be... No. Honestly. I'll be here for a few minutes, guys. That is not that colour, but... Oh, dearie me. Kirsty. Oh, actually, that might be looking a bit more like it. That might be looking a bit better. Let's see. I'm just laughing at myself being horrendous with this paint. They fit in your gel ink electric sharpener. I'll have to have a look. I've not heard of that before, B. I wonder if they're available in the UK. You bought a round double sharpener from Cool Pens. Sharpen perfectly in the Amfat electric sharpener. See, I'm not sure if some of these I can get in the UK. Do you think they'd fit in my swordfish, Debska? I suppose I could just try it. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to use my reference and this here to have a look. Right, that's obviously too dark, but it's along the similar kind of shape, but it needs to be more orangey. What can I add to this to make it more orangey, guys? Feeling alive. Maybe more yellow. No. More red, more yellow. More who knows. Dying inside. Maybe the other yellow. Oh, I've got more like a I've got like a ochre type yellow. Yellow, thank you, K Pixie Wings. We'll try it. We'll try it. Go try. Oh, yes. Oh, that's looking better. That's looking good. Oh, yeah. Might have done it. Might. In the right word. Right, I think that's the best I'm going to get. So we're just going to go for it. Because if it's not an exact match, it's my colouring book. Because... So I've just added some of this yellow ochre to it. And it has lifted it. And it looks more like it now. And we have a little look. It's a bit better. Like, it's sort of. It's the best I'm getting. So just gonna roll with it. We're rolling with it. I'll pop a bit more yellow on the palette just so I can add any extras if I want to add some more yellow tones in it. Yeah, a little more yellow. I think so, Connie. I've just popped some on the side. I'm the worst. There we go. I am going to add some, like, I'm going to go in with the colour I've mixed first as the base up here, and then I'm going to put some actual ochre in down here where you can see it's more yellow. I'm going to pop the ochre just as it is down there and see how we get on. And then I might have to call it a stream, guys. I don't think we're going to get to finish the bottom. The bottom of these bad boys. Let me blow something on my page. What's that? Paint. Right, I will pull you back down. Let me iPad catch up here because my iPad doesn't know what it's doing. Yeah, it's gonna dry a little bit lighter, isn't it? Right, let's go for it then. Let's do this mohawk. Let's do this. So I'm just gonna map out first of all where I want the last of this to go. So it is gonna come out from the white part of this and it's gonna be coming down here like that. And the front bit is all the way up to the top, so we're going round one mohawk. I like doing fluffy things. Like even with hair strokes, when I'm colouring hair on pages, I really love doing it. I don't know what it is about it. Yeah, it's like a coffee cup thing. It's something you can make coffee from. I am going to add some more yellow over the top of this. We're going to have some layers. I'm going to do some layering. Layers. Just reminded me of the movie Shrek that did then. I've not watched that in the longest time. Let's get up here. Let's get that mohawk going on over here. Mohawk. If I go quiet, this is concentration, guys. Major concentration. Just heard a strange beeping outside. What is that? Very suspicious. Suspicious. I'm going to leave a bit of that undercolour coming through in them little areas. This bit needs to be a bit higher than the rest at the front. He's got a serious mohawk now, guys. Oh, definitely K. K Pixie Wings, definitely. Hi Audrey again, welcome back. You can, Pauline, but I'd be a bit more cautious with it, so I wouldn't add as much water. Maybe best to use it in its thicker consistency on Amazon paper. But you could always prep the paper first with a clear gesso. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Debska. Have a nice day. Yeah, what Bee Causey said. Just a little water. You have to be cautious of the amount of water you're using, that's all. Right, I'm going to bring some ochre into this now and hopefully it'll mix into this colour nicely. So the ochres, I'm going to have quite a bit down here. So I'm going to clean off my brush. Right, going straight in with the ochre colour now. So this will get a bit brighter. So I'm going to start over here and then still leaving those bits at the edge, the darker colour. Go for that, that's quite nice. And then I'll just add it a little bit. I think we've got sort of a little highlight hitting the top of his head here. You can break up some of these lines a little bit. I'm going to add a bit down here as well. Just a bit of dotting. I'm doing a bit of dotting above the white bit. You can see already how it's drying darker. It's not as bright. The paper in the description, I just use that for my regular colouring pages. So if I buy sort of PDFs off Etsy, that's the paper I print onto. But I do use, it's sort of like a, it is good for paint as well. You can paint on it. Hi, Fork. I've not got them listed below, Audrey. I couldn't find them. The brushes that I got off Amazon were a really cheap set and I couldn't find them. Now they do a lot of cheap sets on there which roll sort of pretty similar stuff. Yeah. Wouldn't let me link them because I couldn't find them. So see how I'm layering all the colours now. So we've got the darker brown coming through, which was the base colour, and then we've got that more of a tan colour, and then we're running ochre throughout it now. Because this is dried a lot darker as well, I'm actually going to get one of my brighter yellows to just go over this bit and make that bit a bit brighter. My printers, it was very good when I first got it, but it's a bit, what would you call it, temperamental. It's a bit temperamental at the moment. It does some very weird things at times. It does. Right, I'm washing my brush off, then I'm going to dip into this paler yellow. This is a nice bright one. And I'm just going to pop it on this bottom bit. So layering up the colours again. And it is a bit brighter. I'm going to dip back into my white again because I want to fluff this white bit up a bit more. Put a few little strokes, white strokes in there because I'm being fiddly and nitpicky. What bird? What bird we're talking about? Did Mary get the bird out? What bird? An actual bird. My sister's just got two parrots, an African grey and a Severe McCoy. Is that how you say it? Severe McCoy. And the African grey has just said a swear word. She sent me 2 videos of it swearing. So what have you taught it that for? Oh, that's too bulky. Wipe my brush off a bit. Yeah, I said, what have you taught it there for? Of all the things, you could have taught it something nice to say. Right, I'm going to do this side now, so I'm going to go back in with the darker brown. Let's wet it a bit more. Let's map out where we're flicking this one. I'm going to have to spin you a little bit because I need the right angle. Hi Mona, when did you sneak in? Have you just sneaked in? I didn't miss you somewhere, did I? I probably did. I probably did. So I'm just gonna do this side of the head, guys, and then I'm gonna go and get a bit of lunch before I have to pick my daughter up from school. Lives in the reef of your door. Oh no. Oh no way. We have birds nesting like, it's weird. There's like a little area that's above my top bedroom window and below the roof, if that makes sense, but on the outside, and then they nest somewhere in between that. Where's this little bit going? So have you all been just colouring Kerby pages during this event, or have you been colouring other things as well? Who's been totally obsessed with Kerby? Who likes the new Alien Worlds book? Who really loves it? It's had some mixed reviews. I like all the more space type illustrations in it, where it's the big planets and all the background space, but I'm not a fan of the other pages. Are a bit more busy, should we say. I will read the chat in a minute. Just concentration face. Oh, sorry, Mona. Yeah, I definitely missed you coming somewhere, didn't I? Definitely missed you. Just the one page, Audrey. Are you actually colouring that page that was picked? Oh, I shouldn't laugh. I should laugh. No. You've only done Kerby, haven't you? Oh my. Me oh my. Right, let's go in with some of this ochre now. Get some more colourings into it. This guy is well and truly mohawked, isn't he? turn the page a little bit. I'm going to go in with that more of a bright yellow now. You love the alien book, Pixie Wings. Sci-fi is your jam. I love sci-fi in regards to like movies and things, but just the thought of colouring those, well, more than half of those pages really daunting on me. I think it's the fact that I wouldn't know what colour palette is to go for more than anything. Maybe. Thank you guys. I think it'll be good when the whole page comes together. It's just got to be one of those pages where you have to keep coming back to it, I think, because the details are taking a long time. So when I start doing the body of these in my own time, I don't know how I'm gonna approach these feathers, but I can imagine it will take forever. I really do think it's gonna take a time. Pop a little tiny bit this brighter colour the front of his nose, a little bit there maybe. I'm gonna zoom me out and move all the chaos surrounding me, and then we'll have a look at what it looks like properly. There, I think that's everything out of the way. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's let my iPad catch up and see if I'm still in frame with that. What's the doodle book, Pixie Wings? I don't think I've seen that. You're not brave enough colouring Alien Worlds. That's what I'm like. I'm like, I just don't know. Wedding stuff. Oh, I've been with my partner 23 years and we're not married. But it's got to that point now where it's been so long, I feel like getting married would jinx it. Do you know what, you hear of them people who live together for years and years and years, and then they get married, and then within a year they're divorced. It's like one of them. So I think I'll quit while I'm ahead. Just, you know. Oh, thanks guys. And thanks for hanging out, but I will have to pop off now, unfortunately, just before the 2 hour mark. It's 1 minute, is it 1 minute 50 I've been on? Something like that. His mother is nuts. Yeah, but once I've finished this page, I'll pop the completed page up on the community tab, and it will of course be on Instagram as well. My name on Instagram is the same as it is on here, but I can't wait to actually do the bodies of these. Yeah, and the water. I think the water will be quite cool. But yeah, how cute. So the document for seeing who's on next and who's streaming next today, it is in the description of this video. I've popped it in, so if you want to click on that and go and see who's streaming next, feel free to click on that. Any products I've used today, the paints, they're all linked in the description as well. And I will see you at somebody else's stream, whichever one I can get into next, where I'm not running the kids around. But I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this, so thank you, Shannon, to organising this, because it's not an easy thing trying to work out all the time zones. She'll know what I mean. It's not an easy thing working out all the time zones and organising the event. So thank you for inviting me to join in with this as well. Thank you everyone for turning up and for chatting and keeping me company. And I will see you next time. Bye bye everyone.